Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm joined today by Masoud Hussein, who is a student on our Masters in Diplomacy, International Law and Global Change. Hello.
Hi, good morning, Ben. It's a great pleasure being here with you this morning.
Excellent. So my first question for you is, why did you choose Coventry University to study?
Right, that's a good question. What happened is I was just lucky to have my undergrad in Coventry. So while studying undergrad, I realized that, look, Coventry is the best place to stay and continue. And that's the reason why I continued there.
Oh, brilliant. And your master's program began in the middle of a pandemic. How was that for you? How did that shape the way in which your program went?
Honestly, I mean, it's an amazing journey for me because while everyone is complaining about pandemic, I think pandemic was to my advantage to a certain extent because what happened was I was just finishing my undergrad when the pandemic started. So I actually took the opportunity to get into my master's while the pandemic is on. So, I mean, we started with online and then later during the year, we had to start blending, mixing the two together. So it was really good because it kept saying, well, we have to stay indoors to make sure we read as much as we can. So to me, I think it was an advantage. I wouldn't see it as something very bad.
That's really interesting. What do you remember about the very first week of your master's program? And I guess in a sense you already knew Coventry because you've done your undergraduate program with us. But how did it feel becoming a postgraduate student and sort of starting your master's program?
It was something that I was looking forward to. And I was so excited. The excitement is there because it's a program that I've made a choice to pursue possible diplomacy, international law. Before actually getting into the program, I had to do some more research and reading. So I've sort of prepared myself. So when I went in, it wasn't a shock. It was something that I enjoyed because actually I've set up the foundation for myself. So it was something interesting, very interesting.
Oh, that's really interesting. And what's been the most surprising thing that you've learned over the past 12 months?
I would say every single module comes
Mm,
with its own style and, you know, in terms of knowledge, I mean, each and every module is actually in depth. Security practice, where we have people with practical experience in life come to lecture, is one interesting topic. Um, Diplomacy, international law was quite interesting because there's so much I didn't know about law, which with this module I was able to go back and read more and listen to lectures and also I would say human trafficking was one area that actually shocked me
mm,
because the depth and also the detail of things that has been going on, uh, which has been a threat to the international community. I didn't know how bad it was until I started the course. So it's a journey that I enjoyed, and I'm really enjoying it still
mm.
because the more I remember some of the things that have been taught, the more I feel like let me go back and read a little bit more. Law of diplomatic relation is another area which I find fascinating because some of the works of the diplomas, we don't know what they do. We just hear this diploma is a diploma. But I had a real, step by step of things that actually goes on. And it's fascinating. It's a course that Ben, if I hadn't gone in it, there's so much I wouldn't have known. I'm really excited to be part of this, to be honest.
That's really interesting. And you were talking about its security praxis, the the course where you've encountered a number of different speakers from, I guess, from the professional world. Did any of those presentations stand out to you?
Honestly, there were a few speakers, and if I have to pinpoint, I would say all of it. But NHS fraud that goes on within the the NHS was actually staggering. I mean, Sue, who was the person that actually presented it, mentioned something about it's even a threat to the economy of United Kingdom, which shocks me. If I look at the amount of money that goes out, that's one topic that really actually moved me a lot. And also I was able to listen to a lecturer of mine who actually taught me on human trafficking, had to come back, but this time he came back with something different, and that's also another interesting subject. Chatham House, where we had people who have different backgrounds, how they got in, what they do, it gives me an insight of the world, what goes on, the global change. It's fascinating. I really enjoyed every single speaker on the praxis, to be honest.
That's really interesting. The next question, this is a harder one, maybe. I'm going to ask you to describe your course team, the people who've taught you, in 3 words. If you had to come up with 3 words to describe them, what would you go for?
I would say, first of all, very articulate. Every single one of them is articulate. That's one word. And second word I have to use is to say they're professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. And then lastly, I would say they've been very helpful. Whatever questions you have, just if they don't know, they will get it for you. So that's one thing I just thumb up to all of them. They've taught me something called critical thinking, which actually makes me think deeper than I used to. I don't look at things in the surface anymore. And it's one area that I wanted to mention to you is the teamwork, where they had to give a group of us some sort of work to do together. That's very interesting, because it teaches you how to work as a team, where if one is not strong enough, you'll have to just try and uplift that person. If one is too strong, you don't pull them down, but you just go with them. So it's something that I think more of it, we need to see more of those, because that's what masters is all about. Making sure you can lift someone who's going down and also lift yourself up. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, and do you think those skills are going to be useful to you? The kind of skills you got from teamwork are going to be useful to you in your career?
Honestly, it's already started, because I would say I've actually started applying it in my house, let alone at work. So it's something that I really enjoy, to be honest, Ben.
That's super. The next question is about, well, I'm going to ask you to think back to your first semester again. If you had to give yourself some advice, so if you could talk to yourself as you were in your first semester, what advice would you give, given what you know now?
I would prepare more. I would prepare better. I would if any topic or any subject that a person chooses, or you have to first of all do some more research. You don't have to wait for the first day of lectures for you to be able to want to know what it is about. The information is out there. I would read more. I would do more research, than more. I'll be more prepared than I am, at the time that I got in. That's one advice I'd give to anybody and to myself if I had to, go back and do masters again.
Yeah, that's super. I've got 2 more questions for you. And the first is about assessment. So you've mentioned the presentation that you gave, and that's going to be on the degree show site. And yeah, you've spoken a little bit about the kind of work that you've done, but how have you found the assessment? Are there which bits of it have you enjoyed most, and has it been different to what you might have expected?
Right. In terms of assessment, I think the way the assessment is set is fine because it's all been spread. It starts from some of the questions, amazing enough, you even get the question before you even start your module, on the first week, which gives you plenty time to prepare yourself. Most of us, including myself, would relax and say, oh, it's only going to be 6 weeks. We've got 10 weeks. Before you know, 2 of the weeks is gone. You're left with 4 to go to. So the way that the assessment are set, I think is fine. The words that we normally write, I mean, some of them are 4,000, 3,000. I think they've been spread evenly, you know. Um, the quality of the questions is good because you have choices. I mean, you just have to choose which area of the question you enjoy more, which of the questions you think is an area that you enjoy more. You just pick that one and work on it. If I have to talk about grading, to be honest, they've been fair in most of the comments that they give. Once you read the comments, you go back and you work on the next assessment, and that's one thing that has really helped me, because anytime I get graded, I make sure I read all the comments and I apply the advice onto the next assessment, which is what has really helped. My actually work, which is going to be published, is something that actually I find interesting myself, because the question actually was set at the time when the incident is actually happening, which is to do with Afghanistan and America. So, the question is, could you advise on what we think Biden should do? Which is, I mean, I've never written a blog. I mean, in the past, when I look at newspapers, I think, oh, how is this written? I mean, how did they come up with this and write it so cleverly, or any kind of paper? But when we thought how blogs are written, and when I wrote this one and I did the research, and I realized everything is just flowing. I mean, who am I to advise Biden on how to handle a situation like this? But when I go back and I read my work, I say to myself, if you work hard, if you do more research, if you just ask questions, there's nothing you can't do. I mean, it's an interesting. I've actually been back more than twice to have a read of my own work, just to see how I can improve that in future. So basically, this course has really taught me so much. I mean, if I had to go and do masters again or PhD, I'd go back to Coventry. I mean, I'm really, really impressed with delivery and everything, And
That's great. It's very good to hear. And I've got one final question for you, and that's about the future. So what comes next for you after your master's degree?
um, the future is in our hands. I mean, you make a decision and anything can happen in terms of decision. I'm really enjoying the course. I wish the course is not finished. I wish, because the way it's going, we've only got dissertation to go, but there are a few little courses that every now and then I see out of Coventry that you can take. I'm looking to take more of those, and my options are many. I mean, there's PhD route, there's also the teaching route, there's also, it's just vast. The most important thing is to pass well and equip yourself properly. Then the choice is yours. So with me, I think I have too many choices to make, and I'm just looking forward to any good one that I can take.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Masoud Hussein. It's been lovely talking to you, and we'll finish things there. Okay, thanks everyone. Goodbye.
Great pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.